Somewhere between the ages of 60 and 75, most Americans face a set of decisions that will define the rest of their lives. Not dramatic decisions, not the kind that come with alarms or flashing warning signs, quiet decisions, decisions that feel reasonable in the moment, even obvious, but whose consequences play out over 10, 15, 20 years in ways that are very difficult to undo. Some of these decisions will buy you freedom, financial security, peace of mind, the ability to live the way you want for as long as you want without depending on your children or spending your final decades afraid. And some of these decisions, made by millions of well-meaning people every single year, you will quietly dismantle everything you spent a lifetime building. Today, we are going to talk about 5 of them. 5 retirement decisions that the research, the financial data, and the lived experience of retirees across America consistently identify as the most consequential choices people make in this season of life. Some of them will surprise you, some of them you may already be navigating, and 1 or 2 of them, I suspect, are decisions you have been putting off, telling yourself you will figure it out later. There may not be a later. Let us get into it. Before we get to the 5 decisions, I want to explain why the years between 60 and 75 are uniquely consequential, because understanding the window matters as much as understanding the decisions. Most financial and life planning experts refer to the period from roughly 62 to 75 as the critical retirement corridor. It is the stretch of time during which most of the major, irreversible decisions get made. When to claim Social Security, whether to keep working or fully retire, how to structure your savings withdrawals, where to live, how to handle healthcare costs before and during Medicare. Every one of those decisions has compounding effects, meaning a good decision made at 63 is worth exponentially more than the same decision made at 71, and a bad decision made at 65 can be nearly impossible to recover from at 74. The window is real, and for many people, it is closing faster than they realize. Here are the 5 decisions that matter most inside that window. This is the single most financially costly mistake that retirement-age Americans make, and it is made by millions of people every single year for entirely understandable reasons. The logic seems simple. You have been paying into Social Security your entire working life. You are 62. You are eligible. Why wait? Here is why. Your Social Security benefit increases by approximately 6 to 8% for every year you delay claiming past your early eligibility age up to age 70. That is a guaranteed, inflation-adjusted, government-backed return of 6 to 8% per year. There is no investment product on the market that reliably offers that. If your full retirement age benefit, what Social Security calls your primary insurance amount, is $2,000 per month at age 67, claiming at 62 reduces that to approximately $1,400 per month, permanently, for the rest of your life. Claiming at 70, by contrast, increases it to approximately $2,400 per month. The difference between claiming at 62 versus 70 is $1,000 per month, every month, for the rest of your life and, in many cases, for your surviving spouse's life as well. Over a 20-year retirement, that difference is $240,000. Over 25 years, it is $300,000, plus cost of living adjustments that multiply the gap further with each passing year. The research is unambiguous. The vast majority of Americans would be significantly better off waiting to claim Social Security, yet the majority claim before their full retirement age. Why? Because people are afraid the money will run out. Because they do not fully trust the system. Because they need the income now. Those concerns are real and worth addressing, but they are almost never worth the permanent, compounding financial cost of early claiming. What to do instead? If you can bridge the gap through part-time work, savings withdrawals, or a spouse's income, delay claiming as long as financially possible, ideally to 70. Even delaying from 62 to 67 recovers hundreds of thousands of dollars over a typical retirement. The second decision that breaks retirees, often slowly and invisibly until it is too late, is entering retirement without a written, specific plan for how they will draw down their savings. Most people spend decades accumulating money. Very few spend any meaningful time planning how to spend it. The accumulation phase has rules, structures, and professional infrastructure built around it. Your 401k contributions, your employer match, your automatic deductions. The decumulation phase has almost none of that, and that absence of structure is where retirement finances fall apart. Here is the core problem. Most retirees, without a written withdrawal strategy, do one of two things. Either they spend too conservatively, living in unnecessary scarcity, denying themselves quality of life they have genuinely earned out of fear, or they spend too liberally in the early years of retirement, depleting accounts at a rate that becomes catastrophic when they reach their 80s and their healthcare costs rise sharply. The technical term for the second pattern is sequence of returns risk. If you experience significant market losses in the first 5 years of retirement while also making large withdrawals, the math of compound growth works catastrophically in reverse. You may never recover even if the market fully recovers, because you were selling assets at depressed prices to fund your living expenses. A written withdrawal strategy addresses this directly. It specifies which accounts to draw from first, and in what order. It determines a sustainable annual withdrawal rate. It accounts for required minimum distributions, tax consequences, and healthcare cost projections, and it is reviewed and adjusted annually. What to do instead? Before you retire, or as soon as possible after, work with a fee-only financial advisor to build a written withdrawal strategy. The classic starting point is the 4% rule, withdrawing no more than 4% of your total portfolio annually, adjusted for inflation each year. It is not perfect for every situation, but it is a research-backed baseline that has preserved portfolio value across nearly every historical market scenario. Not every decision in this list is a warning. This one is an opportunity, one that millions of retirees miss or delay until circumstances force their hand, at which point it becomes far less beneficial. The family home is, for most Americans between 60 and 75, their single largest financial asset. And it is often dramatically underutilized. A 4-bedroom house occupied by 2 people, costing thousands of dollars per year in property taxes, maintenance, utilities, and insurance. Strategic, well-timed downsizing accomplishes several things simultaneously. It converts a large, illiquid asset into spendable, investable capital. It reduces annual carrying costs, often by thousands of dollars per year, which meaningfully extends the runway of your retirement savings. It moves you into a home that is physically easier to maintain and navigate as you age. And if you choose your next location wisely, it can position you near better healthcare infrastructure, lower overall cost of living, or family members who may eventually play a role in your support. A couple selling a $400,000 home and purchasing a $250,000 condo or smaller home in a lower-cost area frees up $150,000, plus reduces annual housing costs by potentially $3,000 to $5,000 per year. That is a transformative financial event for a retirement portfolio. The research from the Employee Benefit Research Institute consistently shows that housing equity is the most under-penetrated retirement asset in America. People protect it emotionally long past the point where it is serving them financially. The right time. The optimal window is typically between 62 and 70, while you are healthy enough to manage a move, while real estate markets are predictable rather than forced sale conditions, and before the physical and logistical demands of a major move become overwhelming. What to do instead? Assess your current home honestly. Calculate your actual annual carrying cost, mortgage if any, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and utilities. Then compare that to a realistic alternative. The numbers often speak loudly enough to make the decision for you. Of everything we will discuss today, this is the decision, or more precisely, the failure to plan, that destroys the most carefully built retirement plans in America. People plan for food, they plan for housing, they plan for travel and leisure. They rarely plan, genuinely, specifically with real numbers, for healthcare. Here is what the numbers actually look like. Fidelity Investments releases an annual estimate of the average healthcare costs for a 65-year-old couple retiring today. Their most recent figures place that number at approximately $315,000 for healthcare costs alone over the course of their retirement, above and beyond what Medicare covers. $315,000. That number includes Medicare premiums, which most people do not realize are not free. Standard Medicare Part B premiums currently run roughly $170 per month per person and can be significantly higher for those with above-average retirement income due to income-related adjustments. It includes prescription drug costs under Part D. It includes dental, vision, and hearing care, which Medicare does not cover. It includes long-term care costs, the most financially catastrophic category of all. Long-term care deserves its own moment of attention. The average cost of a private room in a nursing facility in the United States currently exceeds $100,000 per year. The average length of a long-term care stay is approximately 2.5 years. That is a potential $250,000 expense that Medicare covers only in very limited, short-term circumstances. Most people believe Medicare will cover whatever they need. It will not. Medicare is acute care insurance. It covers hospital stays, doctor visits, and procedures. It does not cover custodial care, help with daily activities like bathing, dressing, and eating, which is exactly what most older adults eventually need. What to do instead? Build a specific healthcare budget as a line item in your retirement plan. Not a vague allowance, but a real projection that accounts for Medicare premiums, supplemental insurance, out-of-pocket costs, and a long-term care component. Options for funding long-term care include dedicated long-term care insurance, hybrid life insurance products with care riders, and health savings accounts for those who qualify to build a tax-advantaged healthcare reserve before retirement. The fifth decision is one that almost never appears in retirement planning guides. It has no spreadsheet. It cannot be optimized with a calculator. And yet, the research on retirement outcomes suggests it may be the most important decision of all. How will you spend your time? Not in a vague sense, not I will travel or I will relax. Specifically, daily, month to month, year to year. The data on this is striking and largely ignored. A landmark study by researchers at Oregon State University found that people who retire and move into unstructured, activity-deprived days experience dramatically accelerated cognitive decline compared to those who remain engaged, whether through part-time work, volunteering, community involvement, creative pursuits, or structured learning. The mechanism is not mysterious. The brain is a use-it-or-lose-it organ. Decades of work, whatever its frustrations, provided daily cognitive demand. Problem-solving, social interaction, structured time, purpose, identity. When all of that disappears simultaneously on a single Friday afternoon, the brain experiences a deprivation that has measurable, long-term consequences. Retirement depression is real, underdiagnosed, and vastly underappreciated as a risk factor. Studies estimate that between 25 and 40% of retirees experience clinically significant depressive symptoms in the first 2 years after leaving work, and depression in older adults is directly linked to accelerated cognitive decline, reduced immune function, and increased cardiovascular risk. This is not an argument against retirement. It is an argument for retiring into something, not just away from something. The retirees who thrive financially, physically, and cognitively are almost universally the ones who design their time with intention. They have reasons to wake up. They have communities that expect them. They have projects that demand their attention and relationships that require their engagement. What to do instead? Before you retire, build a draft daily structure, not a rigid schedule, but an intentional framework. What will you do in the mornings? What regular social commitments will you maintain? What will you learn? What will you create or contribute? Answer those questions specifically before your last day of work, not after. 5 decisions, 2 that save you, 3 that break you, if you are not paying attention. But here is the thing about every decision on this list. None of them are final until they are made. And most of them, even the ones that feel overwhelming, become manageable the moment you stop avoiding them and start looking at them clearly. The Social Security decision has a right answer for almost everyone, and it is usually wait longer than you planned. The withdrawal strategy decision has a solution. Write it down with a professional before you need it. The housing decision has an optimal window, and that window is open right now for most people watching this. The healthcare decision has specific, actionable tools, Medicare supplements, long-term care planning, health savings accounts that most people never explore simply because nobody told them to. And the time decision, perhaps the most important one, requires only that you treat your life after work with the same intentionality you brought to your career. You spent decades building something. The decisions we discuss today determine what you get to do with what you built. Take them seriously. Take them now, and share this video with someone you know who is in this window, because the information in this video is most valuable before the decisions are made, not after. If this was useful to you, please hit the like button. Subscribe for more retirement and financial health content built specifically for the 60-plus audience, and drop a comment below telling us, which of these 5 decisions are you currently navigating? We read everyone. Thank you for watching. You have earned this season of life. Make it count.